Hello and welcome back. Before I start talking, I want to just say a massive thank you to everyone who's taken their time to give me a message, a call, just any comment, literally any form of communication regarding my first recording. It does truly mean a lot, and I listened to every comment and I made a note of what people actually said, whether it was feedback or praise or just seeing if I was okay. And I'd definitely say, as a general, it was very interesting because I think I had people come out to me and ask for support. Some people were just more, like I said, just wanted to say, listen, I'm here for you. And it was people that I didn't even know knew me or may know me, but like we've not really had much contact. So I'd just like to start this recording by saying thank you to everyone. I've taken on board the feedback because a number of you have asked me, oh, could you talk about this or go a bit deeper on this? And that was what I'll try and cover today. But I just wanted to make it kind of clear my mission behind why I'm doing this. The reason for me putting this on social media and doing these different recordings, well, one recording that I can put on different platforms, is because I know every person is different, so every person listens or watches on a different platform. But not only that, for me, if I can just help that one person, let me get this right. I don't word it doesn't sound so cliche, but it is just helping that one person have a positive impact on one person, in the sense that it's either talking about the feelings. Like, as a generalization, men aren't that good talking their feelings. So it's fine, it's okay, it's not a weakness, it's a strength if anything. So if I was going to call in my mission statement of why I'm doing these recordings on what it's like to have a therapist, and the reason for this is because I just want to have a positive impact on just one person's life. And it's that simple. So without further ado, here is my account of what it's like to have a therapist, part 2. So I kind of watched back and reflected on the recording, and what I noticed was I did a lot of generalization, and I kind of just assumed, oh, everyone's kind of feeling how I felt, and I know everyone is different. So bear with me if I do that. That is something I picked up on. However, getting straight down to it, I think one of the first aspects I want to talk about is, what do I actually talk about in my therapy sessions? Like physically, what are the topics? What do we talk about? And I've said, yes, it's a brain dump, but what have we spoken about? So, like I said, we did start off and it was about a past relationship of mine, and I kind of just really opened up on how I was feeling at that time, why I thought the way I felt. When actual fact, so my therapist, one of the things she does is she'll do a DISC profile. So everyone kind of falls into 4 categories, but you're not just one, you're one of a bit, or you can be all 4. Everyone's different. Now I'm an I, so I'm like an empath. So I'm really quite emotional and thoughtful. That's kind of the profile that fits me, but it really does fit me. All the traits followed. But the biggest thing I learned was my weakness, or the thing I fear the most. I think that's how they coin it in the profile. And I knew it, but I didn't. And so mine was the fear of rejection. So it wasn't the fact that this relationship had ended. It was the fact that I'd been rejected. And I think at that point in time, I was so, for a better phrase, cocksure, which means so confident that how could I be rejected? I think I was baffled. But I didn't recognise that I was baffled. I was just looking at it as hurt and not even looking internally and being self-aware to know. I was just like, I've been rejected, me. So then once that came to light, I was like, wow, like, that is incredible. So from that, I then started to recognise more and more times when, not saying you get rejected, but it wouldn't necessarily go your way. So from that, then we went on to speak about a work scenario that happened. I work in industry where, in construction, it's quite a heated, hostile environment majority of the time, because it's very program-led and everyone's pushing. So there's quite a lot of conflicts which have to be dealt with. And I struggled at times to deal with them, because I remember one instance, and this is no word of a lie, I was sitting there on my laptop working away, and this must have been 5-6 p.m. in the evening, and my headphones in, and a guy comes up to me and goes, "What the fuck have you done now?" And I'm like, I take my headphones out, I was like, "What are you on about?" He goes, "You fucked up again." I was like, I'm still at this point, I'm baffled, like really and truly, I'm like, and I did not know how to deal with that confrontation. And once I delved down to it with my therapist, it was like a flight or fright conversation. Now, in that instance, I still stood my ground, but afterwards I was fuming. Inside, I was livid. Like I was just so frustrated by it. But the good thing was, we reenacted that scenario, and I remember my therapist going to me, "Ryan, let's reenact it. You and I, let's do it." And it felt so weird. Do not get me wrong, it felt incredibly weird. And all my therapy sessions were over Zoom, so they weren't. It wasn't like interaction of a people-to-people connection. It was just a Zoom. But I managed to do it, and even though it felt so weird, it really felt weird. The next time it happened, and the next time, I was better with my dialogue, how I felt after, how I reacted to the situation. And it happened not so long ago. I think it was like last week or maybe the week before. And I was sweet. I wasn't saying perfect, but I was sweet. I didn't feel annoyed. I just recognised that's that person's character. And for me, the more I realised that I can't change people, and I can't change what happens to me, but I can change how I react and how I look at a situation. Now that kind of self-awareness for me is one of the big reasons my growth has grown dramatically, because like personally, once I saw that, it's not like black or white, it's not yes or no, it's okay, that's your perspective, this is mine. Let's have a bit more of an explore and see what, I'll take a bit out of yours if I think I agree with it, but I don't have to agree with it, but I can understand your point of view. And it's kind of having that mentality. However, there was a situation at work, and I remember I didn't know what to do. I just remember I was stressed, I was frustrated. And my therapist told me about this process called EFT, and it's tapping certain pressure points around your body. I'll put a link in the description, and it's just a YouTube one. It's not the one I've watched it, and it's very similar to what I got taught. But when you're stressed, it's just all about, so you go around, tapping your head, tap your back, tap your neck here, and there's loads of different pressure points anywhere around your body. And you just tap these for a few times, and you can say like an affirmation over, or for me, I just listen and feel the taps. And after a while, doing that for just say 30 seconds, maybe a minute, I just calmed down. I felt the stress relief, and for me, I was like, and that was it. And I remember being at work in the cubicle, and I came out, I was like, what was I worried about? There's nothing to worry about. So, yeah, that was a big thing for me that helped. Now, going on from that, one of the feedbacks I got from the recording, a friend of mine, he goes to me, "I never realised, but your smile is your mask." And when he said it, I knew that I'd done this all my life. So I think everyone's got a mask. Mine's my smile, so I smile and it just, I've always smiled, but I don't know if that's because I want people to think that I am a warm person, but you gravitate towards me more if I smile rather than if I don't. But I think it's been that natural to me to do it in all occasions that whether I'm sad or happy, I will smile. So I think recognizing that everyone has a mask now, whatever that may be. Like I remember when I was younger, I used to put my hair down and you'd have like a sweep. So it's been like, I can't remember if you remember the Justin Bieber flick, but it was kind of that. And it was more that when I was a bit younger, self-confidence wasn't that high. I wasn't so happy with my body image. So I remember having my hair down and that was my kind of mask at the time. As I grew up and became more confident, I had my kind of quiff back. So one caveat to that, I think, is that find your mask. What is your mask? Do you even have a mask? You may not have one, but just recognize that, is your mask holding you back, or do you always need to wear that mask? The next conversation I want to have with you guys is a hard one. It's one where I think what it's like to have a therapist, this has been one of the biggest things for me, is that I'm very close to my parents. We are like best friends. But as best friends are, you know your pressure points, you know your weaknesses. So my mum and dad are the only two people in my life that could possibly provoke a reaction out of me, which is unlike what I want to react to, if that kind of makes sense. I do believe everyone's got people like that in their lives. It may be a boyfriend, girlfriend, a partner, or even just simply a best friend. But for me, once I started to have conversations with my therapist about my mum and about my dad, not saying that there was anything to talk about, but there'd be a situation that would have arisen, and I'm like, I just couldn't understand for the life of me why it happened, or my parents' point of view, or why they said what they said, or why I reacted to what they said. And once I started to have these conversations, the best advice my therapist gave me was, Ryan, walk in their shoes. And I'm like, what do you mean walk in their shoes? Like, I know my parents, I know their background, I know them. They're my parents, they're my best friends, like I said. So I know everything about them. And then I was like, actually, take a step back, try and take a bit of an elevated view. How does your father feel, or how does your mother feel? What is going on in her life that's creating her to talk, or him to react in a certain way? And once I started doing that, and let me make this very clear, I have not been able to completely walk in their shoes, but I've got better at it, and it is something I want to continually improve on. And this is going to be a topic of conversation for my therapy session a week today. So I am very much looking forward to talking about that with my therapist. But I think that was one piece of advice that if I could say to people, why do therapy, or maybe not even why you should do therapy, maybe just as a personal goal, try and spend more time walking in someone else's shoes who you're very close with, just so you have a bit more of an understanding and open-mindedness to their life. Because I think once you start doing that, you recognize, actually, let's just appreciate what they've got going on. They were short-tempered or snapped or said something out of line. Let it go. Don't hold it against them. I think the more negativity you hold inside, the more it will eat you away. And at the end of the day, that's your self-growth. That is your self-development being hindered because you're not letting go. Now, I want something tangible to be taken away from this, and I hope so far there has been some benefit. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my therapist plus 4 other people that are life coaches or therapists that she has recommended in the description below. For this is because if this was me now, how would I go about getting a therapist? Truly, I wouldn't know, because I went off a recommendation. So I'm thinking, if that's what I've done, I'm going to give you the same opportunity, because I think, yes, I could put everyone to my therapist, but you may gravitate towards one of the other 4. I think everyone will find their own person who they relate to the best. So I will put that below and their contact details, so you can get in touch, or just even have a read of their profiles, and you may pick up a few things. So I was looking through my therapist notes, and for me, when I was looking at it, there's been a big array. So I spoke about relationships, I spoke about the relationship with my mother and father, how I've been with sex in the past, how I've been with alcohol. But I think they're all very big topics, but I think one thing I kind of left out was why I am the way I am. So in the sense that I've spoke about the passing of my granddad, but for me, the way I am as a person is a lot down to who he was to me. So I've kind of always tried to live up to not his expectations, but who he was as a man, how I idolised him as a human being, and I still do to this day. But one thing I recognised was, until I started living as Ryan and saying, I'm gonna make me proud, not just I'm gonna do this to make my granddad proud or my mum proud or my dad. This is because I want to do it for me. So I'm doing this recording for me to help others. So like I spoke about previously, is a lot of people like me were in a very similar situation, that you do GCSEs, A-levels, get the degree. That's kind of the academic path that's set out in front of you. So I think one thing I'd say is that I found when I actually looked internally and became more open-minded and more self-aware, but following that, I actually did stuff for me. So I've got a sleeping habit, so every time I've ever achieved a body goal, which I've done quite a few over the years, but it was always very, like I said, yo-yo. But now it's just more of a habit. So, and this might sound extreme to most, but I've actually enjoyed this more because I'm a morning person. So between 7 and 8 p.m. in the evening, I get ready for bed. I read for half an hour to an hour. Then I go to sleep. Get up at 4:45 every morning, and I lift weights. And that's kind of how I set my morning off. And when I do that, the days I can't tell you how much better I feel. Now, I'm not saying that I'm never going to drink again, because that would be a lie. I intend to celebrate when it's someone's birthday, or buying a new house, or when your friends have started a new business, or they've achieved something in their life that is a big milestone for them. I will have a drink, and I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think the next day I'll probably go to the gym, but I'll try and get out and have a walk to get a bit of fresh air or get a load of fluid in my system. Recognise that today is a day where I'm going to have a drink, so I'm not going to achieve my goals, which is fine, because everyone's going to have those days. It would be unjust to myself to expect that of me, but it's having the habits in place that know in the evenings I get more tired and the best way to describe it is like agitated, so I can feel myself getting ready for bed. That's the biggest time I feel myself could react in a way that I don't want to react. So I take myself away from that situation at 7, see you later, I'm gonna settle down for bed. And I found that that's been a massive habit for me. Even just such an incremental thing, saying, right, 7 o'clock, bosh, we'll do this. And don't get me wrong, it takes a bit of the socialising out of it, because in the evenings is when most people socialise. So I do always try and pick that up as much as I can within the day. But I think one of the things I'd say is manage your life in a series of habits that are gearing yourself towards your goals. So that was just one habit I've done that's helped me. And going and reading before bed, that's kind of like a combination of two, which has really helped me sleep better, which means I'm not tired the next day, so I'm less agitated, less likely to react in a way that I don't want to be, and less likely to comfort eat or emotionally text or call someone because I'm feeling a bit sorry for Ryan. So it's all these knock-on effects that by taking that one habit away could happen. So just have a think. Is there anything you could do that would benefit your life to achieve the goals or dreams or ambitions that you want to do? Because at the end of the day, that's what really, truly, I think, makes everyone happy, is achieving their own dreams, goals and ambitions. What you want to do, and it doesn't have to be a magnificent, grand goal. It can be something as simple as running a 5k for charity. That's not saying that's little, but it doesn't have to go to the extent of running a marathon. Whatever your goal may be, make it personal to you and celebrate it because you've done it. But just make the goal for you and create the habits to help you achieve that. And I think one of the habits that's helped me achieve my goals, actually, I don't know why I said think, because I categorically know I would not be the person I am now, and that's only 6 months on from having therapy, without my therapist, physically, mentally and spiritually. So I'd like to end this recording here as what is it like to have a therapist part 2. I hope this has provided some valuable content for people so you can take something tangible away, because at the end of the day, I'm only producing these videos and recordings because I just want to help just one person positively in their life, to whether it's to deal with their emotions or just feel like I can speak up, I can talk, it's not a weakness. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please let me know your feedback, comments, direct message me. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on the Apple Podcasts or Spotify podcasts, please subscribe if you enjoyed it. Following this, I'm going to create a series which is going to lead on to other stories or tales, you could say, of what's happened in my life at a nearly 25-year-old man that I think are unspoken truths that everyone should have. Everyone should feel that they're not on their own. This has actually happened to someone, me. So thank you again. Cheers.